it's like, how can I do this in a truly professional, and not in the sense of professional buttoned up suit and tie, pretending to be cool type of thing, but professional in a way that the money, this is serious money, it's serious value. We're solving actual problems.
Focus on love, love what's in focus, aim for above because the ceiling's bogus. Focus on love, love what's in focus, aim for above because the ceiling is bogus. Focus on love.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Famous Rapper Convos. I am David Prorock. I'm here with an extra special guest today, Zheng. We've known each other for like 9 years. He featured on one of the songs on my mixtape. I was also on his mixtape. And then we kind of weren't in contact for 8 years after that. And then I just came across your profile on LinkedIn. It looked like you were doing a lot of cool stuff, and I really want to hear more about that. So maybe we could start if you do like a quick introduction.
Absolutely, David. Thank you so much for introducing me, having me on the show. So like Dave said, we met about 8 years ago. I've been rapping for about 12, and starting everywhere that you can imagine: MySpace, YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, all the struggle rap stuff. So I've been an independent content creator, musician for about the past 10 years. But for the past 3, I've also worked in software sales as an account executive. So my current thing right now, due to the COVID, I was laid off from my sales job in September. And then now I'm doing this thing where it's called the sales rapper. And what I essentially do is I rap about your product. It's cool. It sounds rappy. It's not dated. You're not getting Q-Tip from a tribe called Quest on, rapping about your stuff. You're getting someone that sounds like Travis Scott or Migos or something like that. And the reason for that, how when you go on LinkedIn nowadays, your feed is bombarded, right? Everyone is talking about their company, their brand, whatever, right? And you're getting ebooks, white papers, a bunch of boring corporate shit, right? And this might have worked at the start of quarantine when everyone was bored and they were just sat on their LinkedIn feeds looking at whatever content came their way. But as the time progressed, people started giving me this feedback. I started noticing this is, wow, I'm so fucking bored by everything that I see on professional social networking. So that's where the sales rapper came in. Obviously, thanks to being a failed rapper of 10 plus years, I don't have the artistic talent to make good music that will make me successful in music, but I do have the music or the copying talent, right? Because one of my big MOs is every single quarter I do what's called a quarterly song or rap review. And I make a song where I incorporate all the styles of the most popular songs of the quarter. And that's not very good for your artistic success or your individuality or creativity, but it's very good if you're trying to make sellout music for corporate brands. So that's what I've been doing. I run marketing for this big freestyle server, probably the biggest in the world right now. We're at about 12,000. It's called RMC Royal Music Community. It's on Discord, and what essentially is, it's like a cipher that you have on the street, but it's online. You hop in a room, there's already a beat playing, there's people rapping, you just get going. It's a good time.
Looking at your LinkedIn profile, we've lived like somewhat like parallel lives. Like both of us have been doing music for like 11 years. Did it a lot more like 11 years ago. And we both got jobs in tech after college. You worked at Amazon doing sales. I worked at Facebook as a software engineer.
Yeah, I was at Yelp doing sales. I wish I was at Amazon doing sales. However, I would have made slightly more money.
Yeah, Yelp, nice. Yeah, you're at Yelp. We both were there for like 3 years. I left Facebook in March. You left it in September. Since you are about a year younger than me, that's like almost like exactly like the same amount of time working. And
one quick. So I actually left Yelp, and this is a funny story, but it's a quick one. So I left Yelp in March. Well, actually, I left in January this year. I was kind of hitting what I thought was kind of limiting my growth at the time, but I just wanted to try a new challenge, different opportunities, and this was obviously before COVID. So I leave in January. I get recruited by a few companies, and I start at this fintech company in March. I was in the office for 4 days. And then New York went into shutdown for COVID. And so I went through my following 6 months of ramp from home kind of in a silo. Didn't really know what was going on. Then I was laid off. So I actually wasn't let go from Yelp, but it's from this other company. So I was at Yelp for about 2 years.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, that's details. Nice. What was the fintech company?
It's called Smart Asset. I think I might still have the active NDA with them, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, cool. Nice. So yeah, I'm glad to have you on the show here. So I just want to start up with the standard interview question that I ask everybody,
Sure.
which is if you were to think back to like when you first started getting into music, maybe even your first time like listening to music and like feeling influenced by music, like where does your music journey start? And then if in about 3 minutes you could tell the full story of how you first got started to like where you are now with your music, what is that story? You kind of touched on that a little bit, but in like a 3 minutes focusing just on that artist story, what is that story for you?
Sure. So it's actually a very precise point where I started. I remember hearing Lil Wayne's "A Milli" in around the 07, 08 mark. And that was the first time I was like, hey, I want to do this. I don't know why. Maybe it was the combination of just the punchline heavy style. I loved Wheezy back then. And I was inspired to do it as well. And then I remember being on YouTube watching old videos of this guy, MC Zheng, freestyling, rapping on 106 and Park, right, on BET. This Chinese dude, little Chinese guy in an orange tracksuit wearing Timbs, with a pretty deep New York accent, just killing these raps, killing them. And that was the first time I thought, hey, I'm an Asian person, but I could do this music thing. And at the time, there were two main channels. One was MySpace. Everyone was on MySpace just as a social site, right around the 2007 mark. And I was like a little kid at the time, but I had some friends locally that were also kind of into the rap music. I'll give you a bit of context. So I grew up in like southeastern Illinois, which I know you're from Chicago, or like one of the suburbs, right? Yeah. Weren't you from Buffalo Grove? I just remember that detail. We talked about it. I had a friend that I went to a boarding high school in the burbs, and like one of them was from there, so I recognize that name. Very cool. But I was about four plus hours south of there. So it was pretty rural. It was downstate where people thought that they were Southerners. Shout out to Illinois. So you have these truck driving white boys that thought they were hard ghetto gangsters. So we started rapping, we started doing music, and eventually went from MySpace to putting music out on YouTube, shooting videos. And that's how I met Dave here, was through the YouTube stuff. And then, at the time wasn't getting a ton of traction. Had a few minor videos on YouTube blow up, and I was actually, I guess, a content partner at the time. Only had about 500 subscribers, but I was averaging like a couple thousand views on videos just from spamming it in a variety of places. Eventually, I was involved in a Blogspot. I don't know if you remember Blogspot, but we used to do like ad scams on Blogspot. Bam, they removed my partnership on YouTube. So I ditched that. And then for the next couple of years, this coincided with me going off to college. Then it was like, hey, let me actually brand myself, go to studios, get legit quality music, pay for beats, pay for features, pay for music videos and whatnot. So in college, I was doing that, trying to do it the conventional way, SoundCloud, DistroKid, Spotify, Apple, all of that, music videos. Didn't pan out, and then I stopped doing music publicly for the most part after I graduated college. And that's when I really focused all my time on doing the RMC stuff. I was like, hey, if I can't be a successful artist, let me still find a way to be economically viable in this thing that I enjoy. Right. And that's 3 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. So you first started with "A Milli" by Lil Wayne. That's interesting. One of the songs that stands out to me is "Lollipop" by Lil Wayne. I remember I listened to that song specifically, like so vivid. Like I was on the volleyball team, and then I heard that song while sitting in the stands. Like somebody else gave me their headphones when they were listening to it on their phone. I was like, this song, like it just made me feel just like such a certain way. Like "Lollipop," it was like so like dirty, but also like clever and funny. And then I was like, That was one of the songs for me that was a big inspiration to get me into music. And then you went on YouTube, you got content partnership, but then you did some scam stuff and got kicked off. Yeah,
Hey,
nice.
we live and we learn. That was 10 years ago. YouTube, Google, Alphabet, please give me my shit back. Like I will make you so much more money than I will make from it. You know this. Come on, I'm gold mine right here.
Totally. YouTube actually loses a lot of money because of the server costs. Like they host everybody's videos for free, which are pretty large files.
Yeah.
If you think about how much it costs to like host a file like on Dropbox, YouTube does it all for free. So that's cool. And nice. And that brings you to here. You're doing the more sales rappy RMC stuff. And my next question for you is, when did you first learn how to freestyle rap? And how has freestyle influenced you as an artist?
Wow, that's beautiful. So I have a perfectly canned response to that. I first got into freestyle rapping, I would say, in college, or slightly before college. Was I first got into freestyle rapping. That came as a result of watching the 2006-2007 rap battle WRCs, the World Rap Championships. And you had these two guys, Thesaurus and Immaculate, that were, and also Dumbfounded, this Korean American rapper out from LA, right? So you had a lot of these rappers that were engaged in a purely freestyle battle. But the difference was, you go on the internet, since raps existed, there's been battling, there's been freestyling, right? But having it in an organized contest, with a steady content release schedule and everything a little bit more legitimized, kind of sold me on the idea of freestyle is something that's cool to do. Because before it's like, oh, it's Eminem and 8 Mile. And that's kind of the extent, right? Or it's MC Jen on 106 in Park. So a lot of that came to me around the same time. It was really through battle rap is how I got introduced to freestyling. And then to answer the second part of your question, I really like to equate freestyling with two other things. One is I have a lot of friends that are stand-up comics. Okay, so obviously improvisation is a key component of comedy, right? Especially in stand-up sets, you have a live audience interaction. Sometimes you get a heckler. Guess what? You're freestyling, your roast, right, of the people in the crowd. That's off the top of the dome right there. And my other favorite metaphor for this, I talk about this a lot on LinkedIn, is I think sales, especially outbound sales and business development. You're in a freestyle. You're in a rap battle. Because guess what? In a rap battle, you have an objective, right? Which is to use your words to win, to humiliate your opponent, to brag about yourself so you look better. And what's a cold call in sales? It's two people who are diametrically opposed. One person wants to sell you something. One person doesn't want to buy your shit, or they have a busy day. And you have to be quick-witted enough on your feet to, in a completely unstructured environment, use your linguistic ability to, convince an audience. And on a call, that could be an audience of one, but to convince your audience that what you have to say is relevant and prove your point. And you have to constantly adapt, right? If someone hits you with an objection, hey, we already have someone for that, right? Then you better think of a objection handle pretty quick, and that's kind of the freestyle.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Are there any? So you freestyled in college. So like, what was that like when you were first starting? And how did you actually learn how to do it?
Sure. So I had an advantage. I definitely had an advantage when I learned to freestyle because I had already been rapping. So I would say I got heavily into it. Discord was the first place that allowed me to consistently have a freestyle type of experience. Whereas beforehand, yes, everyone is familiar with the trope of the rapper banging on the lunchroom table during school, right? And freestyling through that. So we definitely had that. And, in high school going on, just cruising around in our cars and playing beats. Right? I remember this was before everyone had just ubiquitous music streaming access. But, and here I am aging myself, even though I'm only 24. I feel old sometimes. Do you remember burning mix CDs of beats?
Not of beats.
That is thing.
My sister, No, not of instrumentals. My sister made a lot of CDs to listen to in the car, mostly like Lil Wayne mixtapes from Dat Piff. Yeah, but I never actually did it myself very much.
I didn't either. My boy did. One of my homies, he kind of tried to make beats on the side. So sometimes he'll put his own beats on a CD and cruise around with. They're shitty beats. I'm assuming now. I don't remember them, but they couldn't have been too good.
I would always get Lil Wayne instrumentals from YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got mine.
And then what year did you get into Discord?
That's a good question. I think just last year. Maybe like early last year.
I would say
I think RMC was the first one that I found.
So RMC's been around for 3 years. It came about either end of 16 or start 17, and then I've been obviously part of that from the launch. And then before that, there was a server. It's still around. It's called HHD Hip Hop Discord. You're probably familiar with them. They're probably, I'd say they're the biggest hip hop Discord, but they don't have as active voice chats as RMC. Not nearly as active in terms of voice chats, but their text chat is popping. So that was the first time it was a live online freestyle with the beat playing and other people. Essentially what I'm trying to say is the first time I had an audience. And one of the reasons I think it was easier for me starting out was because I've been watching freestylers for years going into it, right? With the battle rap stuff and the competition stuff, right? It's all freestyle. So I'm kind of familiar with the bar. Hey, this is the kind of the quality standard that you can reasonably expect to eventually get to. And it was good for me to have an end goal, or at least a metric, a KPI to aim for going into this. So it's not like, hey, let me develop blind out here. It's let me take this example that I want to be and then work on it. So I was able to contextualize, hey, my freestyle flow isn't good enough, right? Or I'm a lot stronger in acapella freestyling than I am on beat. So, and then my strategy for that would be to just freestyle on a beat and focus only on the flow and not rhyme any words. So that'd be one of my strategies. Or I would do this thing sometimes if I wanted to have better multisyllabic rhymes when I freestyle. What I would do is I would literally get out my notepad on my phone and just write multis. I would just write literally a list of 30 something 4-syllable rhymes, and I would memorize the list. And so it was easy for me because I'd written so much, and I'd written at a self-proclaimed complex level. That a lot of it was memory, and I just had to kind of get the synaptic pathways created because all the information was already there. Did I explain that well?
Yeah, totally. So you're saying, based on just what you said, you kind of had two different things that you did. One of them was focusing on flow without rhyming. And then the other one was just writing lots of rhymes and then memorizing those rhymes and then incorporating them into the flows.
That's right. And it's almost like one of those things, you know how when you write a song and the rhymes that you use, they stick with you for a while, right? It's pretty easy to keep them memorized. And I noticed something similar. It's not as strong because you don't have the physical thing that is your song that you listen to over and over again, right? That creates another totem for the memory to exist. But you still have the pieces of this memory. And I found that very helpful. It's most of the time when I freestyle on RMC, like I do not use my brain when I freestyle. It's all muscle memory. I mean, I like scientifically, I do use my brain. Don't get me wrong, but from a individual perception wise, don't do that a lot.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And I definitely I still use some of the same rhymes that I used like 8 years ago.
Amazing.
A good metaphor that somebody I talked to used. He said that like the rhymes are kind of like ammo. And so you just build up this ammo. So then when you're freestyling, you can go to those rhymes and you don't have to think about them. They're just there, right. And you're just saying them because they're already there. And then it's really all of the in-between things that you're kind of just connecting to the rhymes. And then that's really where the freestyle happens, is the in-between words.
I love that metaphor so much. when you describe it as ammo and a gun, because the first thing that I think is when you're actually training or freestyling, you're right. The actual act of freestyling, the practice of the act of freestyling, rather than the whole entity that is freestyling, the act of doing it in the moment. It's firing the gun, and how do you get better at it? Is you shoot your gun more often, right?
Yeah.
You go to the range, and the more you shoot, because your bullet's not going to change that much, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's your delivery mechanism, and it's funny because we use the word delivery a lot in hip hop and rapping specifically, right? Yeah.
And other people can see your ammo. They can use the same ammo, the same gun as you, but maybe they won't hit the target as much as you. They might have a different style when it comes to how they shoot. And then
right.
Cool. So that was great. Well, first off, I want to check out. You said you have some stuff to do today. We started kind of late, and I just want to make sure you got time.
No, we're good. We're good. I'm free until like the afternoon, so we have plenty of time. I'm on the West Coast. So.
Yeah, me too. Oh, where are you living?
I'm in Seattle.
Nice. I'm in Oakland, California.
Ooh, dude, you know what? I was almost about to move to Oakland this year. One of my best friends lives out there. Do you know a rapper by the name of Chow Mein?
Yeah, Chow Mein.
Yeah. That's one of my best friends. We'll get him on your pod.
Oh, heck yeah, nice. Yeah, I've seen him live perform, I think, multiple times.
Way.
Yeah.
Man, he's literally my closest friend in music.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow, what are the chances? That's awesome. You should definitely come out here. We should do like I don't know, a 3-person or more thing.
Yeah, man, I'd be super down. Let's once I get the vaccine, Cali's probably my first stop.
Nice.
It's huge.
Cool. Okay, so Zheng, if you were to think about like 12 months from now, where do you hope to be? You can either be like with your music or just in general, like what are your goals for the next 12 months? And like what are some milestones that you find yourself working towards?
That's a beautiful question. It's something that I answer with great risk because I don't want to make any career limiting moves. Right.
True.
Here's the way that I kind of see this. Now, I've worked in sales for 3 years. Now I learned a lot. It was a very valuable experience. Unfortunately, I'm 24, and I accomplished a decent amount of my 2 years at Yelp. So the nature of the work I was doing or the results I was producing probably were pacing beyond my level of experience, which is tough when you're job hunting during a pandemic. Is you have certain expectations for your compensation or your role that may not be realistic in the scope of the job market, right? I've closed millions of dollars in revenue, right? And it's a challenge for me personally to step in a sales development role and make cold calls to set meetings for other people to close deals. That's tough. So I've held off on jumping into one of those roles and taking this pretty significant pay cut to do so. And what I'm doing right now, obviously I have the sales rep stuff. I can sell. I've sold a lot over the past 2 or 3 years. And right now I'm selling myself. I'm selling the service right now that in an age where first you had people, like, let's go 2 years ago. Not everyone in this space was as big on content, right? At the time, it was content creators that were doing the content, and then you had influencers that were, they were on the wave too, and the marketing departments would contact the influencers. So it was all third party. Very little content as we know it nowadays was being created. Content in the form of white papers and ebooks and studies, stuff like that was still going on, but it took on more of a professional, corporate tone. Whereas now the cool thing is, hey, everyone's got to be human and personalized, and you know what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really about like helping these companies. They haven't been rapping for 12 years. They haven't been producing content online for 10 years like I have, right? And the flip side of that issue is if they go to someone who's coming a purely creative world, they're not going to speak the same language that these SaaS companies do, right? You know, that you're not going to go to Jake Paul and he's going to know what an ACV is, right? Or what is net new revenue. And they have no idea what that means. But when I'm dealing, you know, I'm helping, you know, a lot of SaaS, you know, small startups, SaaS companies, sales departments, marketing agencies, right? Even accountants that want to stand out. And it's like these people do not have the network to just reach out to someone they know and get a song done or get a music video produced or have graphic art done for them, right? And if they do, they're probably going to somewhere like Fiverr or an online kind of task aggregator. And it's not a great experience. It's not cost effective, and it's not really tailored to what they're looking for. You know, someone who's been rapping for 3 years and they're advertising themselves on Fiverr for $200 to make a custom song. They've never worked in tech. They don't know what they're talking about, right? And so it's kind of that disconnect is I realize I have this unique value. So to kind of wrap up this answer, I would say if I can scale this to a point where, you know, I'm charging a fair market value, but still getting enough kind of lead flow to where I get about, let's say, starting out 2,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And it's hard because all of my clients, or right now, it's kind of a product. It's not a SaaS model, right? It's like here's your product and that's it. And you know what I'm doing right now is obviously we're referral farming, and I'm using that the reach of some of my clients to also boost myself and get more organic leads that way. But it's not one of those things where, you know, if I'm working with the individual contributor, they don't have the budget to pay $250 every single month for like a fresh song. So that's one of the things is I'm working on a way to change the pricing to where it's more of a SaaS model. And if that means I provide ongoing content, you know, as on retainer or however you want to call it, that would be more ideal versus right now. It's if I stop selling, I stop making. And that was a huge issue, I guess. See, I want to be careful with how I phrase this. It's a huge issue in sales right now because if you don't have a repeatable process, you know, it easily leads to inconsistent results and burnout. So I think the biggest indicator for me this year is having a repeatable process and recurring revenue. Biggest thing. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that's great. Having, you know, the processes and the systems in place so that you can do what you want to do and sustain that. Awesome.
I'd say I'd be proud of myself if I get to
what you're
like
working on is
a month. Yeah.
Cool. One of the things that I like, a similar thing, I want to help other people either like write and record their own raps to as like a gift for their loved one or a significant other, or I want to help people make songs that will help them get a girlfriend, because I think it's actually pretty common that people make music and then they actually find their girlfriend. That's how I found my girlfriend, actually, was by sharing my music.
Really?
And yeah.
You know what? I don't use it for, like, I guess, to find a girlfriend, but I guess I haven't really been in a relationship mode for the past couple of years. It's definitely part of my brand for like dating, though. Definitely part of my brand. You know what? Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of value in this because I know I like to do even though I'm a corporate software sales douchebag, doing the rap and music thing allows me to you know, the mysterious, elusive aura of the artist, and that's awesome. That's powerful. Yeah, that's a great idea. How did you come up with that?
I've like I said, I'm in like a pretty similar situation as you, where like I was like had a job and then I didn't have a job, and then I also like to rap, and it's like, what can I do with this? So then I started. I actually made a song for a friend of mine who used to be my manager when I was an intern. And then it ended up like the song was actually like a lot, or some of it was like about his wife. And also in my own music brand, a lot of my songs started shifting to be more about like my girlfriend and like the process of like going from girlfriend to wife. And so it's something that is just like a big part of my life.
Have you proposed to your girl, or
no?
I was gonna say you dropped the W word in there. I was about to do my full congrats speech.
No, she wants me to though. She wants me to.
Pressure's on. It's okay. We'll cut this part.
Yeah. And then I make like a lot of songs that like allude to it. And then she hears it and she's like, "This sounds like you're proposing," and I'm like, "It's just a poem."
Yeah, you're a carrot meat nose.
yeah, exactly.
That's one thing that I wish is I never really made a lot of like emotional girl music, where I'm really expressing my feelings. I'm not really an emotional guy. I don't have a lot of feelings. I think that's what made me good at sales.
But you're an F though.
But I'm sorry, what?
You're Myers-Briggs. You're an F and not a T. So
yes, that's right.
Emotion is a part of who you are.
The way I like to look at it is like I try super duper hard. I recognize, and dude, I've been through like counseling and therapy and like the drug gambit and all that. You know what I mean? So it's not like there's a stigma or I think, and I think it's awesome that we're actually talking about this on this podcast, because I do think it's important, especially this year, right? But what I've noticed is that I experience a limited range of emotions, but some emotions I feel them at a very strong level, which is not good for me in terms of my objectives. So one thing that I've learned to do over the years is really like acknowledge my emotions and try to dismiss them and be constantly vigilant and cognizant of that. Because it's very easy for me to just spiral and let one emotion dominate kind of my extended being for an extended period of time, which is not good, right? So I've come to this point where I realize this is not universal by any means. Emotion is good, but for me, I've learned that I don't express them in the healthiest way. So therefore, I try to limit my response to emotions. I acknowledge that they're there. There's like, it's unrealistic for me to say, "Hey, I don't feel this emotion." But what I can do is say, "Hey, I feel this emotion. I recognize that it's there, and let me choose to just either like physically restrain myself to prevent me from acting on anything." Right. But like once you get that control, the agency and the self-awareness, it is very powerful. Sorry, that was
that makes sense.
Tangent.
yeah. I mean, I can tell you my side of that. So I'm very much like a T, thinker, not a feeler. And like basically my whole life, I've kind of just like suppressed my emotions. Sometimes like not in a healthy way. But I've always like thought of myself as somebody that doesn't have emotion at all, which is not healthy, I don't think. So in the last like few years, I've been spending a lot more time like dedicating conscious effort towards like understanding like what my emotions actually are, and like learning how to use them, and also like developing them specifically.
Like healthy expression, right? It's like rather than not communicating and letting a problem fester for a while, it causing myself, and whoever's involved in some type of mental unpleasantness, and then eventually boiling over into a negative confrontation. What I'll do is I'll channel that anger until let's say I'm hitting like a sandbag, right? Or to going for a walk. It's like, or just removing myself from situations where I know that a negative emotion could be expressed in a disadvantageous way. Like, dude, I haven't talked to my dad in 6 months.
That's rough.
And I don't plan on resuming like that, because I know that relationship at the time had a very, very strong suicide ideation effect on me. And like, but that's through like years of experience of like dealing with this stuff. Is like, I know that like it not to even go in like anything about the nature of that relationship. I just know from a personal perspective and a mental health perspective, that was a bad situation for me. I probably would have killed myself.
Wow. Yeah, it's a good thing.
So I took matters in my own hands. But it's one of those things. It comes with maturity. It comes with knowing yourself, right? And like you said, I think it's something big you said, is like strengthening your ability to express your emotions, right? But I love the way you frame it, because it suggests some form of agency. Like, you're in control at the end of the day, or you can be if you just put in the work. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it is certainly like out of your control. But there are things that you can do to make it so that when you're out of control, you do the things that you want to happen. So like, for me specifically, I've worked a lot on my ability to love and to generate love, such that now it just like happens naturally. So like, I don't even have to control it. It's like, I want to write love poems because I'm just like overflowing with love because of the work that I've done in the past.
Right.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I mean, it's kind of a personal question. Have you ever talked with a therapist before?
I have.
Okay.
Actually, I started this for the longest time. I was not super keen on that idea, to be honest. And that's just a result of the way society is kind of painted what seeing a therapist or seeking mental health help is, right? But like, shout out to my brother. He kind of noticed something was off, and he suggested that I go see a professional, get professional help. And like, he opened up to me. Actually, I didn't know that he was struggling with some of this stuff, and he was also going to just seeing a counselor of his own. And bam, I was like, all right. So if my brother's seeing a psychologist, and like I look up to the guy, he's very successful in life. But I'm like, okay, so maybe it's not such a weird or uncommon or non-normal thing. And like that's honestly, it has helped a lot. Right.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm currently no insurance because of losing my job. So I've not seen my therapist anymore. But
yeah, it was pretty cool when I left my last job. They gave like credits or something. Basically, it was like you can see a therapist like 25 times or something as part of the severance package or whatever. So that was pretty cool. That was my first time going, was like after losing my job, and then and it helped. I was able to work through a lot of stuff that has been with me like my entire life. So it was really a great experience. And it definitely like changed who I am, I think. Yeah. Cool.
For sure.
All right.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so let's totally shift gears. So if based on what we've talked about so far, or based on what your goals are, is there any specific person that you think could help you along the way? Like, if you feel like your life is kind of missing this thing, or like in order to accomplish your goals, you need to do this, and this type of person would be able to help you with that.
Absolutely. Jeff Bezos, 1 billion would solve all my problems.
Perfect. All right, so Jeff Bezos, if you're watching this, reach out. Cool. I don't know. Is there like what would be an ideal partnership for you?
An ideal partnership for me? That's a good question. It's a timing thing, because I really think about this as building any other startup, right? And my big problem right now is I don't know if the product market fit is strong enough, if the selling environment is strong enough, if there's enough buyer urgency, need, pain, problem, that I have a viable product. I don't know that. So I'd say that's something that's important to me. Someone with strong product experience, that can have formal conversations. We can build frameworks, and I could learn, methodologies to deal with this stuff. Because I'm a pretty process oriented guy. Having been in enterprise sales for this amount of time, right? It's not like you're cold calling someone and you're closing them over the phone. No, you're cold calling someone, emailing someone, leaving voicemails, sending LinkedIn messages, just to hopefully get one initial meeting where where you talk for 30 minutes to see if they even have a problem that you solve. Right. So that's the framework that I want to take with either sales rep, the independent restaurant consulting work that I do with my past clients at Yelp, or the RMC stuff. It's like how can I do this in a truly professional, and not in the sense of professional buttoned up suit and tie, pretending to be cool type of thing, but professional in a way that the money, this is serious money, it's serious value. We're solving actual problems, right? Whereas I think right now it's still kind of novelty. People think it's fun, it's interesting, but they see me as this rap content creator that worked in this field, did well for a bit, isn't doing well anymore, so it's changing to this. But like I would want someone to help me get it to the point where it's seen as a legitimate product. I think that's the most important thing. And then following that, I think I need guidance in terms of being a solopreneur, right? With something like this, what's the best platform to do all my legal stuff, right? What's the best way to do all my legal stuff? Contracts, right? Invoices, payment accounts. What are the best stuff like that? Because as it scale right now, I can operate off Zelle, Venmo, whatever my client's payment processor of choice is. I could deal with that, and it's small enough that I have time to coordinate one-on-one. But if my vision were to come true, I was scaling this, and I like because here I'm head of marketing at a 12K member hip hop server. You know how many rappers, singers, graphic designers, sound engineers, animators, graphic creators? You know how many of those people we have? 1 million, right? That's my game plan is to like, these people have a talent, they deserve to get paid for it. They're not getting paid for it. Damn, that's bad. These people on from the professional world, they need voiceover work, podcast editing, video design, right? Maybe custom music for their brands. They don't know where to go for that. And even if they go to somewhere, an aggregator like Fiverr, they're not getting the best product for the market price. There's no market price. So it's a huge problem. And if they don't do that, their other alternative is to just drown in the noise. Just keep writing your post about your statistics and how great your company is. See how many buyers are interested in that.
So that was a nice chat off the record. If people out there want access to that, you're gonna have to subscribe to my Patreon. That'll be up there. Just kidding. It actually was not recorded for anybody except for me. So, or like not recorded. It was recorded in my brain.
Yes.
But so anyway,
that's why we need Patreon. It's really expensive to extract memories from brains.
True. Elon Musk is working on it with what's it called? Neuralink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna change the game for rappers. Once you got Neuralink, basically you just sleep and you can just write raps in your sleep, and then you'll have all of the words there. So then when you wake up, you would just read your dreams basically and just rap them out loud, and that's your album.
We're gonna get a lot of terrifying albums. at least with the dreams that I have.
True. Dude, my dreams are dope, honestly. I love my dreams. Sometimes I just like sleep longer because I want to dream more. But that's just where I'm at right now.
It's funny. We just started recording. That's okay. I'm in Washington. It's a legal state. So like, my dream recall is awful. I haven't remembered a dream in years, and when I do, they're awful. So I'm pretty happy that I don't have dreams, or I don't really remember my dreams. They don't do me too much good.
Well, you want to hack for that? I mean, if you don't want to, then
stop smoking. Stop smoking is the hack.
That's not what I did, but
and then keeping a dream journal. Like I've done all this stuff. I lucid dream. I could actually lucid dream.
Me too.
But it's like what I do this thing where like, I don't know, like if you're probably familiar, like Mild, Wild, and all that. Like I do the wake induced lucid dream.
I would wake up and then I would just write in a journal, just like for 3 pages. And then after I did that, I actually haven't done that in a while, but now like when I wake up, if I just lay in bed, then kind of like the same thing happens in my mind, if that makes sense. Like I keep dreaming as if I'm writing it in a journal, but it's in my mind. So that's been happening, which is weird, but also kind of cool and fun.
And then, so you slip into that like mid dream. Then it's not, you're not like doing anything just to like set it up.
It's like in the morning, like I'll wake up, and then if I don't get out of bed, I'll just lay in bed with my eyes closed, and then I like basically like keep dreaming, but like while being awake.
Interesting. So like,
I don't know if that's a disorder.
Is it like a type of REM sleep, or is it like more in a different part of your mind because you're like technically awake?
I don't know. I don't think I'm REMing. It's kind of like daydreaming, but
okay. But do you find it more vivid than a typical daydream?
Yeah, I think so. Do you ever meditate?
Meditate, I do. It's helpful. I stretch a lot, so I meditate while I stretch.
Nice.
It's like it's kind of a two
do you do yoga or just like?
Yeah, I mean,
normal stretching.
I've done yoga before. I've done classes. But like for right now, for me, it's more just like training, stretching, like my old basketball stretch routine.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
like calisthenics.
Yeah, just like not even calisthenics. It's like just like get my back biceps, like a bodybuilding, like stretch out my shit. Because like all I really do right now is I do cardio at home. I don't like jogging. I'm not a big outdoor exercise guy. And my knees are really poor in terms of the joint health. Because don't squat too heavy when you're in high school. Bad idea. I was one of those guys that sacrificed form for clout. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
So I have recurring back and knee issues. So I prefer biking and swimming to running, which is but it's like you see the weights around here. I try to stay in shape right now. It's hard, but it's something you got to do.
Yeah, I do yoga. I do yoga videos from YouTube.
Oh, amazing!
And I do those like almost every morning. It's really good. Yeah, I will. I got you.
Yeah, dude.
I have a playlist of YouTube videos I use for routines.
Dude, flexibility has been one of the things that I've wanted to improve at for so long. But it's like I kind of hit a experience. Is that like a kind of everyone's body is different, and like some body parts will be more flexible than others? Gotcha. Dude, I looked at some of the.
Sorry, you kind of cut out.
Yoga,
but
yeah, no worries. No, I was saying like flexibility is something that like I know is super important to health, and like I want to get better at it. So I like painfully stretch myself out every day, but I still can't hit a lot of the yoga poses. And I'm like, damn. But I think that's like a time thing, because like I mean
it's like breathing.
Yeah, it's like core strength,
like man. Staying with your breath.
Dude, it's like it's like the core, the like stabilizer muscles and stuff. Like, dude, I've seen like fucking jacked ass dudes like 6% body fat struggle in the yoga class. I've been that guy too. Like when I was training, shredded, look amazing. Yoga class, embarrass myself.
Yeah.
So
it's a different thing entirely.
That was good because it, cutting in and out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So explain this concept of flow a little bit more to me, because I feel like this has some parallels with the music or the community stuff that we do.
Yeah, totally.
So help me understand. So we're doing the whole cutting in and out business right now. But yeah. I kind of want to like help frame the answer a little bit. So flow, you mentioned, it's an interplay of the different components, right? You have your muscles, the stabilizers, your tendons, your ligaments, and then your breath. Like, what is the mindset that you get yourself into to achieve flow? Because usually when I'm in a difficult, trying to do something difficult in yoga, like I'm thinking about myself and like posturally, am I correct? Which muscle should I be engaging? Which stability muscle should I be engaging? And then, like, what are some techniques in terms of thought patterns or like mind to muscle connection that I could use to like better orient my body, right? And is that the wrong way to go about it? Is it more natural? Right? Tell me a little more.
Okay, so I'm not an expert. I've been doing YouTube yoga videos like every morning for like 2 years maybe. But the way that I think about it is like my body is like in this space, and it's typically in like one or two shapes, either sitting or standing up. And then so yoga is kind of the practice of putting your body into different shapes. And so you are basically like unlocking more and more ranges of motion, like ways that you can like manipulate the energy of your body. And so it's a lot about like the breath, because when you breathe in, you move slightly the parts of your body. So like if you're like in a certain position, and then you stay there and you like focus on your breath and you breathe deeply, that like it strengthens all types of muscles. And yoga is a lot about learning how to live with ease. So like when you're doing poses, like I'm never like trying really hard. Basically I want to like be able to be calm and like taking deep breaths while I stay in different positions. And then so the flow state is kind of like being like aware of your body parts and your breath, and kind of like you're doing something like really weird with your body, but at the same time all you're doing is breathing. So like the movements, it should be like as easy as breathing, and just slowly slowly developing more and more shapes that you can do with your body.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's kind of like it's like a linear progression type of thing. Like you start out with the easier movements, and then as you do the easier movements for a while, your body naturally, because of just progressive overloading, it gets better at the other movements. Now, is there anything like the best people that do yoga, like I've got to supplement it with like cardio and weight training and stuff, right?
I have no idea.
Is there competitive yoga? Is that a thing?
Going right now. There should be. I don't know. I have no idea. But another thing with flow is that like everything in life happens in cycles. So like day after day after day, the things that you do become habits. But if you think about your yoga habit, if you're doing the same yoga flows day after day, you're basically like building the habit of moving into these specific shapes. So then the more like flow and cycles you're doing, you're basically just making small changes to what you're already doing in other days. And the more that you do it, like it just becomes like ingrained in like the routine of your body moving through space. If that makes sense.
I like that.
And it's also
a lot.
Cool. And I do a lot of meditation. I do Vipassana meditation. The whole point of Vipassana meditation is to free yourself from attachment and aversion. So attachment is when you like something and you desire it and you want it and you want to hold on to it. That's attachment. Aversion is when you don't like something and you want to like push it away. But both of these things cause suffering, because if you're attached to something and it gets removed from you, then you suffer. And if you're averse to something and you're not able to keep it away, then you also suffer. So meditation is, when you don't have either of those, you're kind of in this flow state that's equanimous. It's like just neutral. And so while doing yoga, it's kind of the same thing where it's like you're doing these poses, but like you don't want to be like attached to being a specific shape. You're kind of just feeling how you are, and just like going with the flow in that way.
I like it. I kind of resonate with the usage of flow state. Like that's something a concept I'm familiar with. And like whether through playing ball or honestly, I experience the flow state the most when I freestyle. Right. I think when you kind of mentally blank, you spaz out when you spit a hot verse, like that's an example of the flow state, I think. So I think that's a good metaphor to help me kind of understand what the process is like, because and a lot of other things, right? Like especially, and I always bring this back to sales because I do want to use part of this as sales content for the sales rapper. But
Okay.
the way I see it in sales is you don't really get a flow state in sales. And some people argue that you do. You get the closer's rush or the trigger high, but that refers to an antiquated way of selling, right? That's like, oh, you're Jordan Belfort. You got the sucker on the phone. You're about to sell him $5,000 worth of shitty penny stocks that he's going to lose money on. And like that's kind of the whole like winner loser mentality in sales, which I hate. I think it should be a winner winner mentality. And like you can't have sustainable, scalable business long term if you don't have two winners, right? It doesn't work because guess what? Like we don't live in the information dark ages anymore. Anyone can go on G2 and see exactly what your company's like. So,
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
But it's like this whole flow state. It's I think there's a dialogue in certain things where like it could be more directly applicable to certain things. Whereas like yoga's one, for, doing music, performing, improvisation especially is another one. But I think something like law or something like sales is a which is why I think it's even more important to have, because I think it's generally a good positive mental thing to experience flow. I'm cut out. I think my internet's gone.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, my internet's fucked. Can you hear me right now? I can't hear myself.
I can hear you right now, but there's probably latency, and you're not going to hear me until a few seconds later.
Yeah. Okay. Here. See, I just heard you.
Okay. Cool. So we're back. What you made me think about that sales thing. I don't do sales at all. I don't know anything about sales. But if I were to think about sales in like a flow state, it would be like thinking that like you're just observing things as they are. So like you're on the sales call and it's kind of like the assumption that like the sale is going to go through, and you're just kind of like in a flow and you're just like doing the things and just they're coming, and it's just like how it is. I had a better way of phrasing it, but I kind of lost it after all that.
I think I understand what you're trying to say. Look, I'm going to give a quick try. So the way I'm seeing it is I reject that flow states can exist in complex systems. That I fundamentally believe that. So I think when something like sales, it's super complex, it's multifaceted, there's a lot of different steps. It's impossible to maintain a flow state throughout the whole thing. But what you're saying is there are parts of the sales process you can absolutely have flow stated. For example, I could be on a great discovery call. I'm asking all the right questions. I'm illuminating the right pain points, right? And I'm setting up, present state, future states, the impact. I'm learning all of the primary decision makers, what their primary concerns are, right? And does the solution align, or is there a way that, my solution can help them achieve the specific thing, right? Because to say a company, oh, we want more efficiency. Okay, what does that mean? It's a different thing for each company, right? So, okay, we want to increase production by 25% in the next 3 quarters. Well, that's a lot more specific and easy to solve than we want more efficiency. And so I think when you're consistently doing the right things and doing the small things in a particular part of the sales process, you're in a flow state. But one important distinction is I think of flow state as you're not actively thinking. You're doing based off of instinct, and like your mastery of something, or like your buy-in to a certain thing is strong enough that it overrides all of your active thinking, and you just focus on doing. Right? You can't do that in sales. You can't do that in complex systems because you have to think. You have to use your brain. After getting a certain answer from someone, if it's not enough, you have to take a step back and look at the information that you have. Oh, this is not enough. I gotta dive deeper. Right? And that's like, it's almost like getting into the habit of interrupting your own flow state to check yourself, so you're not. And that's a huge thing with podcasting that I'm learning, is when I'm on other people's shows, that it's a little easier because I'm the featured content, the product, and I can talk. But sometimes when I have people on my shows, I end up talking more than I want to, and I don't get the best answers sometimes because I'm trying to talk and I'm not listening. And to be a better podcaster, I have to like interrupt my flow state. I might be in a great demo mode. I sound very articulate, right? I'm talking about something entertaining in a new way. But just because I'm doing that doesn't mean that's the best podcast quality or content that I can make, right? I have a guess and I'm not, you know what I mean? So here, let me take my own advice and shut up for a second.
To be like the like Zen salesperson, or a salesperson that's always in flow state. It's like a hard thing to do because a sales conversation inherently, like you're like trying to make a sale, right? But you can't be attached to wanting to make that sale, and you also can't be averse to not making the sale. So you like either the sale is going to happen or the sale is not going to happen. It doesn't matter, and you're just trying to do the best you can to make the other person's life and day a little bit better. And
that's it.
Yeah. Is that sales? I'm an expert salesperson now.
I think. All right. Different people either like to overcomplicate sales, and other people like to simplify sales way too much. It's nuanced and it's different. And that's the thing with sales is like there's no universal salesperson. The best salesperson in each field are exclusively good at selling in that field. I firmly believe that. Can they transition into another field and thrive? Absolutely. But they're good because they know that field.
Totally. Cool. Well, that's a good way to leave it off. Ding, it has been a really great conversation. This went on for a while, almost 2 hours. And to close things up, I just want to, what do you have going on that you want the people to know about?
Sure, absolutely.
So imagine, put yourself in the viewer's perspective. They've been here, they've been watching this for like an hour and a half. What do they need to know?
Sure, an hour and a half. So if you have been watching this for an hour and a half, and I hope it's edited somewhat, so you're not suffering through my rambling for an hour and a half. But I assume you're either here because you're friends with one of us, and we made you watch this. You're in sales or marketing on the LinkedIn space, and you're curious about differentiated content, custom branded art content, or you're into music and you like rapping and hip hop, or you're on RMC and I made you watch this. So what I would say for that is I exist primarily to serve you. And by you, I mean the second, all my revenue, all my marketing, all my salespeople right now, I'm here to serve you. And what I mean by that, hopefully over the course of today's conversation, I'm someone that's Dave and I both, we met through music. We're rappers, we're artists. But we're all in creatives, but we're also, in the tech space, and we're professionals, right? And I'd love to hear a little bit more at the end about Dave's community with the blurb. But it's like it can be hard for someone who's an adult and siloed in this professional space, but still have this yearning for the music, for the creative side. They don't know where to go for that, right? And hopefully by me being the sales rapper and being out there, put myself out there, I can make that happen for more people. So whether you're looking for someone to rap about your product so you can actually get eyeballs on, on your brand and not get lost in, this current, what's the word I want to say? Like a downpour, a historic Amazon level, torrent of just content. That's very watered down and vanilla. I want to stand out. I'll rap about you. I'll get my singers. I have 12,000, artists that we can draw upon. Do something custom. If you're sick of working marketing agencies, let's talk. I'm not going to claim I'm the best solution or best fit for you, but people generally like having conversations with me. And I try to be funny and whatnot. So that's the sales rapper. I do that. And if you rap at all and you're looking for a place to either collab with other people, find a producer, find someone to mix your stuff, find someone to do your graphic art, or get live feedback on a song in a voice room with other people. Come to Discord, come to RMC, come to Dave's server. Shout out to the sales board, shout out to Rev Genius, shout out to Sahil Mansuri, shout out to Bravado and the Zinner family, shout out to LinkedIn. Ding out.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me. I guess I can shout out some things about myself. I filmed that out 2 weeks ago called Now and Later. Check that out on streaming services everywhere. I run the Famous Rapper community, and Famous Rapper Records is the name of my record label. It's my goal to inspire 1 billion people to learn how to freestyle rap. So hopefully, if you haven't tried freestyle rapping, this interview, will encourage you to go out and try it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to discover who you are and, just have fun with friends, connect with people online. There's plenty of Discord servers to try that out. The RMC one is a great one. My Discord server is called Famous Rapper Cyphers. We go live every Thursday night for Freestyle Roulette Live, where if you're a rapper, you can come on the show. I will give you a beat. I'll give you inspiration. You can do your best freestyle. We record that freestyle and you post on your SoundCloud or whatever. And we can just make moves together. It is fun. I want people to have fun.
Yes.
More than anything else. Life is about enjoying it. You don't always have to be stressed about things. Freestyle rap gives you an opportunity to just let free whatever's on your mind. You can just speak your mind, express yourself, and just let it all out. So this has been Famous Rapper Convos. Very special guest, Zheng. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a great 2021. It's a new year coming
Cheers
up.
Cheers to 21, baby.
21. A lot of special privileges come with that year. All right. Bye.
Because the ceiling's focus. Focus on love. Love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling is bogus. Focus on love. Love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling's bogus. Focus on love. Love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling is bogus. I wanna lay down a never-ending road. We never